Hello and good morning from Tijuana International Airport. Today we're going to tell you a little bit about our journey, our experience from San Diego in the United States of America, going to Mexico via Tijuana. There's a lot of interesting stuff happening over here, a lot of firsts, let's put it this way, and we're going to kind of try and cover our experience and how easy or difficult it is. There's a lot of information online, but there's a lot of nuance that's missing, so we're going to try and cover that, right? And we're flying today from Tijuana, Mexico to Felipe Angeles International Airport in Mexico City, which is a new international airport of Mexico City. So it's not the original big airport that's near the city. This is one that's slightly away. It was only inaugurated last year. It's brand new. It has now some flights going to and from it. To be honest, our choice to fly from San Diego to Mexico City, this flight was less than half the price of the flight flying to Mexico City International Airport. So we're going to tell you a little bit more about that. And of course, once we get there, we're going to tell you how we made it to the city, what options we had, etc., etc. So it's going to be more of an adventure-like vlog than we don't really know how this ends kind of situation, right? So let's start from today morning. We were in San Diego, and from San Diego we decided we wanted to fly to Mexico City, and there's one way of flying is to fly from San Diego International Airport to Mexico City, but you got to then fly via Dallas or LA or something like that. However, you can just drive 20 minutes south to the border and cross the border through what they call the cross-border express, which is like a land bridge that takes you from San Diego, from the US side, over the wall over the border into Mexico and straight into Tijuana Airport, from where you can just take a domestic flight from Tijuana Airport, which is in Mexico, to Mexico City. And the San Diego flight was going to be 6-8 hours with all the stops. The flight from Tijuana to Mexico City is 3 hours and 20 minutes direct, and it was compared to San Diego, it was nearly 1/4 the price, and compared to flying to Mexico City from Tijuana, the flight is less than half flying to this new Felipe Angeles International Airport. How do we get here? The journey is divided into getting from San Diego City, where you are downtown, to the CBX, and to get to the CBX you can either drive, there's parking, you can also take an Uber or a Lyft, and it's roughly about $30 to $45 depending on the time of the day, and it takes between 20 and 30 minutes from downtown, right? You can also take public transport to very close to CBX, but then you have to take the last part of it. You have to take either an Uber or something like that, or a taxi. We got here, we got dropped off, and it's very airport-y like, so it's on the US side, and you cannot cross the CBX without actually having a booking. You need to buy a ticket to cross the CBX. The ticket can vary between $20 in low season to I think it's $25 or $30 in high season, but you need to buy them. You can buy them either in advance, or you can buy them over here when you actually walk into CBX. There are counters where you can buy the ticket. You will not be allowed to cross from the US side to the Mexico side without having this ticket. So if you buy this ticket, you don't need printouts or anything, you just need it on your phone, and you can scan it to go through the gates. In addition to that, you also need what they call the FMM, which is a form for migration. It's like a form that you need. It's not a visa, it's just an information form that you need to fill while entering by land into Mexico. Now, it used to be the case that you needed it by air as well, but I think at least last time I flew to Cancun, we didn't have it, and apparently a lot of major airports are phasing it out. But if you're going from San Diego via the CBX to Tijuana, you need to fill up this FMM form. And you can fill it online before you come to CBX. However, it's far simpler and far quicker to do it at CBX. CBX, they have computers with touchscreens. You literally enter your flight number, your country of residence, and your address in Mexico, scan your passport, and it prints out the form that you need, right? And that's step one. So you now have your CBX ticket, you have your FMM form. Once you fill that out, and here's the tricky part, here's the part that we're gonna spend some time on. You need to pay a fee, and the fee is anywhere between $32 or 680 Mexican pesos to what we were charged, 717 Mexico pesos, which I don't know why we were charged that, but so anywhere between $32.50 to $44, you have to pay that if you're entering from San Diego into Tijuana and you're staying in Tijuana for more than 7 days, right? But if you're staying in Mexico for less than 7 days, and you're taking the land route back, you don't have to pay that fee. However, if you're staying in Mexico for less than 7 days and then you're flying from Mexico and airports in Mexico City to any other country, you're considered in transit and you do have to pay that fee. So everywhere it'll tell you, oh, you have to pay the fee if you're going to be staying in Mexico for 7 days or more. It's incorrect. It's like a nuance over there. It's only if you're coming back via a land border, or, and I don't know this for sure yet, but at least what the immigration lady told me was, even by air, if you're flying back directly to the US, you don't have to pay. But what you do have to pay if you're flying to any other third country, you know? So it's technically the FMM for less than 7 days is only valid if it's from the US to the US and like from US to Mexico and back to the US. So for example, I have to fly out tonight to a European destination, and technically I'm only here for, you know, actually less than 24 hours or less than 12 hours in Mexico, and I had to actually pay the money. So so a little bit of nuance there. It's very vague information on the internet. In fact, a lot of places will tell you that you don't, that like it's absolutely non-negotiable and you have to pay the fee. But the reality is, if you are entering from San Diego and you're coming back to San Diego, you're spending less than 7 days, and you can go anywhere in Mexico, but as long as you're coming back to the US within 7 days, you don't have to pay the fee. Okay, so in the end, what happens is you got to pay the $20 to use the CBX. You need to pay the $35 to $45 for the fee for the FMM. So that kind of pops up and this is per person, so that kind of increases the price by $65. So there is a bit of a cost, but the experience is really good. From the time we got dropped off at the curb to getting a trolley to put our bags, getting our FMM forms printed out, going through the gates, and then the bridge is actually just 3.5-4 minutes walk. You cross the bridge and you're in Mexico. You go through over there. Once you get to the Mexico side, you have to go pay the fee, which is by card only, no cash, no dollars, just by card. And literally a minute later, you go through immigration in Mexico, and they were super nice. It was hardly like 10 seconds wait. And then you go through a micro security, like a customs basically scan to see if you're taking any illegal goods. And as soon as you finish that, you enter into the check-in lounge or the check-in hall where you can check in for your flight. And all airlines, Volaris, Vivo, Airbus, and Aeromexico, and all, they go from Tijuana. So that's where you head up to. And once you check in, you go through the escalators, you can go down and you have security. Security was pretty quick and straightforward as well. We didn't have to take out any liquids from our bags or anything like that. You still have to consume the liquids if they're above 100 ml, but you don't have to like take out any of your cosmetics. One of us had to take our laptops out, the other person did. You don't really, it looks like they have new machines. So it was pretty quick. And once you're out there, then you're free to go to the lounge. There's tons of food places and things like that. And that point from being dropped off to getting out of security and actually hitting, you know, the gates, for us was about slightly between 30 and 40 minutes. And that was mainly because we had a to and fro. I didn't pay the fee, and so I had to go back and pay the fee. And then, you know, the immigration lady told me why I had to pay the fee. And she was very nice about it, actually, to be honest. It was a really pleasant experience in the morning. It's Monday, and it's Monday morning as well, so I was expecting a bit of rush, you know, with people heading to Mexico through the bridge. So the bridge is a great experience. You can take the trolley right up to your check-in. So you get the trolley at the CBX drop-off point, which is like an airport. You can take the trolley there all the way up through the elevators, across the bridge, into Mexico, through the Mexican immigration, right up to check-in on the Tijuana airport side. You can take a trolley. I still think that the $60 was a little steep. And I still don't know why we were paid the 40 instead of the 35. We paid the $45. Tijuana airport is really nice. There's lots of food options. There's panda, there's burgers. It's a very typical airport. However, we also have access to the lounge over here. They have one lounge called the VIP lounge. It's very nice. They have a menu that you can order food on. So they have cappuccinos to order. We had for breakfast, we had 3 or 4 choices. We had eggs with ham, we had quesadillas, we had chilaquiles, and there's cereal and fruits and bread, and of course there's a whole bar if you're coming for lunch or dinner. So it's a really nice one. You can get access through Priority Pass and Lounge Key, or you can buy access for about, I think, $40 a day. I mean, it's one of the better small lounges, we would say, or that we've seen. And yeah, I mean, we've got our boarding happening soon in about 10 minutes or so. And then we're going to be 3.5 hours in the plane to Felipe Angeles Airport, and then we'll tell you how we get on, because that's the tricky part. We'll see you in the future. And now we're in Mexico City. We took a flight from Tijuana International Airport to Felipe Angeles International Airport, which is also called as AIFA, or the code for airport code is NLU, and it's a new airport for Mexico City. It's a fair bit away from Mexico City compared to the international airport of Mexico City, which is called AICM. There are a few interesting things that you should know if you're flying to Felipe Angeles International Airport. The first thing is there are no Ubers there. So when you get there, there are no Ubers. It's a brand new airport. It's only been open for a year. And as a result, you can get taxis, and taxis will cost you anywhere between 750 to 950 Mexican pesos to get to the center of Mexico City. Alternatively, you can take buses, and you can take what they call vagonitas. Vagonitas are small minibuses, and there's a regular-ish service between the AIFA airport and the Mexico City International Airport, what I call AICM, and that bus, depending on the company you use, can either be like 3 hours apart or 2 hours apart. But anyway, we landed at AIFA and got off the plane. From our landing to our bags was about half an hour, and there's a fair bit of walking at the airport, and you don't have access to any trolleys till you get to the baggage claim. So if you've got any heavy hand baggage, or if you have kids or strollers, then you have to manage it all on your own till you get to the baggage carousel, and there you have some trolleys. After collecting the bags, you can get a taxi straight away, and because there are no Ubers, you just get in a taxi, and hopefully, fingers crossed, you get to Mexico City with a decent fare. Or you can take one of these vagonitas or buses. And we originally thought we could make the bus that goes from the Felipe Angeles International Airport go to the Mexico City International Airport, which is closer to town, and then take an Uber from there. That's what we thought we would do, but actually we got there and the bus tickets were all sold out. That made us realize, this is point number 2, if you are looking to go from AIFA Airport to Mexico City, try and pre-book your seats on the buses / vagonitas if possible, because then we managed to get, and it turned out to be for the better, because we managed to get a vagonita right up to the World Trade Center, which was about a 10-minute walk from our Airbnb, and that turned out to be quite good. But we were the last 2 people who got the ticket, and again it was completely full. So we'll in the description we'll put down the list of the most updated transportation links from AIFA Airport to Mexico City, and there are quite a few. You just won't know which one you'll get on and which ticket you'll get. And the ticket prices of buses range from being free, so if you take the complimentary shuttle between AIFA and AICM, which is the International Airport of Mexico City, there's one company that does free shuttles to 70 Mexican pesos, which is what Viva Aerobus, their autobus service, charges, to 95, which is what originally we wanted to take the Vagonita as well, to what we actually ended up paying, which was 150 Mexican pesos to get to the center of Mexico City, like 10 minutes walk away. And I thought it was worth it. I mean, it was a bit of a tight squeeze. The roads are pretty bumpy, but you know, it's comfortable enough for you to get there. There's air conditioning, and your bags go in the back, and that's not an issue. So there's plenty of bag space on both the Wagonitas and the buses. However, when we were there, we did see the train tracks. So rumor has it, they're building a train. And when that comes up, then it might be a little bit easier depending on the frequencies of the trains. So the problem is not so much the connectivity. There is connectivity, it's just the frequency. Like our flight, when it came in, the next available bus was like 2 hours later. And so we were just lucky. We went straight to the terminal of the Autobus, which is about a 5-minute walk from the airport. So you exit the airport and you go straight to what they call like the terminal for the Autobuses. And there's all the offices there, and you can just hit all of them and say, hey, I need to get to Mexico City. What's the next one I can take? And they were super friendly, by the way. Even the bus company that was sold out, they pointed us to another bus company. Then the other bus company pointed us to the third bus company. We went to the wrong bus company, and then the lady took us to the right bus company. And all of this, like, when we had about 10 minutes left to make the bus. So that's why we couldn't film this video, live from the Autobus station, because we were running around trying to make sure we can get to Mexico City. And the trip was about an hour and 20 minutes to get to World Trade Center. Quite comfortable, you can see around, so it's quite good. The other thing that you have to also kind of keep into account is the fact that when you are at Tijuana airport, or whichever airport you're flying from, and you're flying to AIFA airport, on the monitors it won't say Mexico City. It says Santa Lucia airport because it used to be a military base. Don't get confused. It won't say Mexico City or Ciudad de Mexico or anything like that. It'll just say that, and that means it's coming to the AIFA airport. It's the same flight time comparatively, and if you can work out the transportation, it's not that bad. So I hope this was useful for you, gave you all the information you needed. It would have been great if we had this information. We were really struggling with the amount of information that was about connectivity and buses, and while people are trying to be helpful, the information on the timings, we didn't know whether all the timings are accurate or not, but turns out the link that we will post has the most accurate timings for these buses. But try and book in advance if you can, right? And we hope you have a really, really good time in Mexico City. We're really looking forward to it. And drop in the comments if you've missed out anything, because I'm sure we missed out on something or other, but so far we felt we've covered all the bases, including the prices, the ease, the efficiency, the times, etc., etc. So drop in the comment if there's something we missed out, or some tip that you found very useful that we didn't cover over here, because we love to know a little bit more about how to travel better, faster. So till our next video, stay tuned.